This is an experiment where I'm running this wheel. It's running pretty slow, but it's running of 9 milliamps. It's running on 9 milliamps, and let's see how much amps it can put out. Just hold on a second. That's the output of the amps.
James Bond 007, the new fragrance for men.
So I'm putting 9 milliamps to run this system, who puts out 130 milliamps, which is way up. It's like more than 10 times the input amps. Now this is the waveform. It's a little bit confusing, so I'm going to connect the oscilloscope a little different. Maybe it's gonna be easier to understand. It's hard to realize this, but you see those sharp pulses of a very high voltage? These are actually the input of this experiment. And down here is the output. And if here we go, just make this a little bit wider, you can see down here the radiant impulse, just a little bit. You see? Small sharp pulse downwards. You can barely see it, but it's there. That's actually the radiant part. And this thing is actually the input upside down. So let's reconnect it. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing because the measurement device, the oscilloscope in this case, it can't really measure the coil's waveform. So if we would want to know the waveform, we would look at this part right here, where you have a small sharp transient current going up in the coil, and this change, which you can see here, is the coil's voltage. Then when the coil collapses, there's this part up here, which is, I'm assuming, a little bit higher in voltage and time, much wider by time, and it produces much more current, as you can see. This machine couldn't operate and run without the output current. The output current is actually driving this wheel. You see, you can't really run this thing with 9 milliamps, but with 9 milliamps plus this current, you can definitely run this at a low speed like this. So let's really see. I'm going to switch back to the input current. go, we start at 5 milliamps, and as the wheel goes faster, you see, this is where we are. Okay. So this is an experiment showing you that I can run this with a very low amperage and produce a very high amperage, and I can make resistance. What I want here is to make the load lower. Now I'm running this with 5 milliamps. The output will be smaller as well. If before I was doing an output of, I don't know, 130 milliamps, now it's going to be like 60, between 60 to 70 milliamps. Okay, but it's still running on 5 milliamps, which is really neat, if you ask me. The waveform is confusing. It will confuse many people. So it's running. It likes to run on this very low amperage. I was actually trying to make this machine run on less than 1 milliamp. I failed. The wheel would need to have less friction, and maybe I'm going to even need to use higher voltages to get this done. But running this with 5 milliamps and 9 milliamps is also very good. See? Let's give it push. Pushed it. Here we go. You see down here, that's the input. It's like a very short start of a sine wave. It's cut very early in the start of the wave, producing the collapse of the field which runs the machine. So that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. And if I can run this on 9 milliamps, just think about it. This can go faster for a lower amount of milliamps. So just think of the possibilities.